Right, everybody, we've got some new missions today on the career mode. We've got a nice flight from, let's see this actually. I think we're departing from Chicago O'Hare, and we're going to Buchanan Field. So yeah, this is like a special charter mission that they gave us. We get huge payouts for these missions. So I always like to do them, but they're only active for 24 hours, so you got to do them when you can. And it's going to be a full 737 flight, so hopefully you guys can use this as a tutorial for your 737. It's not always easy to get started with it, so let's get into the flight. I think everything is already set up, and we're going to accept the mission and get flying here. Alright guys, so we finally got all our clearances, and let's get the flight set up. So we're cleared via the O'Hare 8 departure via runway 10 left. We're climbing and maintaining 36,000. We have the flight on the EFB here, but we do have to get the FMC set up, so let's go ahead and do that. We go to the init ref page here, and index page, performance page here, I think that's the one. Yeah, okay, so we're going to flight level 360. We're gonna set that in the FMC. 0 fuel weight, just double click it, you get your 0 fuel weight here. Reserve fuel, I always set 0 because I don't know what they put in the game. And cost index, you should put something around 85. Don't forget to execute it. Next one, you just flip through the pages. So we're going to the N1 limit now, which is our takeoff page. Outside air temperature, I usually just match what's written there. If ever you can't put a negative number in there, so if it's not negative, I just put 0. There we go. So we have 90.7 thrust N1 for takeoff. We can go to the takeoff page. We're going to set flaps to 5 for takeoff. We have our V speeds now that we want to set in here. So this one, and this one. So we're rotating at 130 knots. Center of gravity, you just double tap it, and it gives you your trim value of 4.5 for takeoff, which we're going to set here. So as you can see, this arrow tells you what your trim is at. So right now we're at 0. We're at 3. So if I go down, now we'd be at 2. Now we're at 3. Now we're at 4, and right about there looks like 4.5, right in the middle. So there we go, trim set to 4.5. So I think that's all we have to set up for the FMC. While I'm at it, I'm going to set up my autopilot. So first thing I want to do is turn the flight director on, auto throttle on, get a speed that I'm comfortable with after departure, which I usually like to hold 220. Actually, I'm going to open up the charts here, because when you're setting up your autopilot, you want to set it up to what the charts say. So for your departure, so we're taking off on the O'Hare 8 departure, and I actually don't have that chart in my charts, which should be there because ORD 8 is there. So I'm surprised that the chart, it might be a glitch, the chart. But the good thing is that airports in the US have their charts online, so I'm going to go ahead and find the ORD 8 departure here online. So after looking at the chart, guys, it's pretty pretty generic departure. It's just straight out, and then they give you vectors. However, the game doesn't give you vectors, so yeah, we're just going to fly it how we want to. This is the departure. Runway heading is going to be around here. It's probably going to be closer to 90. They cleared us up to 36,000 directly, so we're going to go ahead and set that to 36,000 feet. And then I like to have my vertical speed set to about 2,500 after departure, just so we can maintain a climb once my altitude is set up. So let's request pushback clearance here.
Ground Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy Gate Mike 1 for information kilo. Request pushback.
That pushback is complete.
You're clear to start engines.
Unfortunate. Okay, so we didn't get pushback, so that's great. So runway 10 left. Where's runway 10 left? It's going to be on the other side. Runway 10 left is this one. Okay. And we are parked currently over on the other side of the airport. So we're parked down there where the private jets are. Engines are starting to really come alive now. Here we go. Got to set my parking brake back on actually, just so that we don't start moving forward with the engines. Okay, so we're parked all the way down here, guys. So let's open up the chart again and find out where we're parked. So it looks like we're parked here at the east port, and we have to taxi all the way down to 10 left. So they're gonna probably get us taxiing down one of these taxiways all the way in. So let's request our taxi clearance now.
7-1 tree heavy.
Okay, so we have a lot of taxiways here. Usually it's more complicated than it sounds, but they said Victor 2. So Victor 2 is this taxiway here, Victor 2. Then they said Bravo, or no, Victor Alpha 18. So just Victor here, Alpha 18, Bravo, Alpha 17. So where's Alpha 18? Alpha 16. At the end of the day, it's just, you know, get to the runway, and then it wants you to taxi via November and Zulu, November 2. So November is that taxiway all the way down. So we'll figure it out, guys. We'll get to runway 10 left. A lot of taxiing. So Victor 2, I think, is this taxiway right here. Unfortunately, pushback didn't work, so we're going to have to push back the old-fashioned way, which means turning on the reverse thrusters and trying to taxi this way. Don't try this at home. This is not standard procedure, but sometimes the game doesn't work and pushback doesn't work, so you have to do it yourself here. Alright, and we're slowly gonna start kind of doing like it would do on the yeah, I'm just gonna, this is fine, you know, I just want to move out of the gate here and we'll just push our engines forward. So we've got, let's welcome the passengers. Let's turn on the landing lights, all of this. Fasten seatbelt sign on. No smoking sign on. Turn on all the lights here. Alright, good. We'll set the takeoff brakes to rejected takeoff and flaps to 5 here. So we've set the takeoff flaps, we've set rejected takeoff. Now we are going to go ahead and taxi to runway 10 left. They gave us a whole bunch of crazy taxiways. We're just going to try to follow what they said, but at the end of the day, if you get to 10 left, you're going to be good. I forgot that I'm on reverse thrust right now. Turn that off, and let's get taxiing normal here. We got some Boeing 757s. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that beginning part. We've got the FMC set up. We looked at our charts. You know, we briefed our departure here. And now we just go ahead and taxi to runway 10 left here. So out by Victor 2 and then November. I'm a little blind, so I always have trouble reading these taxiways, but if we see a Victor 2, we're going to take it. This is Victor 3, so Victor 2 is going to be the next one up here in front of us. I'm actually going to open up the taxi. There we go. So at least we have Victor 2 and then Victor. And Alpha 18. Alpha 18 I don't get because Alpha 16 was all the way at the other side of the ramp. So again, the ATC is an AI. It doesn't always work well. Alright, so Victor 2 here to Victor, so that's what we're expecting. Then Alpha 18 to Bravo, so we're going to make a right turn here on Victor. And then it says Alpha 18 to Bravo. Stuff that I want. And I'll also change one thing in the FMC, which I will show you guys in a second here. So Let's stop at the hold short right about here. So we're holding short. So one thing I want to show you guys here is right after departure we have a discontinuity because it looks like we're not going anywhere. See, I have no line. That's because we're expecting radar vectors after departure, but this game isn't good enough for radar vectors. So what we actually want to do is take this vectors thing away and just go to direct to our waypoint and execute that. So now we have our line here that shows us where we want to go after departure, but we're still going to fly runway heading, which I just saw was 093 after departure. So that's set to runway heading, and I'm going to set my autopilot. So I want to set heading select on for our departure and vertical speed on. There, when I turn on my autopilot, everything is going to fall into place and we're going to be on heading mode, vertical speed mode, and everything's going to be good. So let's request takeoff clearance here. We do have to set the altimeter here. We're still on standard, so let's see what they give us.
Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy ready for IFR departure runway 10L.
Alright, clear for takeoff 10 left and altimeter 2946.
Takeoff runway 10L. Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy.
Altimeter 29.46 is set and we are clear for takeoff. Let's go. We are at runway 10 left here. We're cleared for takeoff. Takeoff thrust is about 90.7 and rotation speed was 130 knots, if I remember correctly. Looks like we have a little left to right wind here, so we're gonna make sure we take that into account with our rudders and ailerons as we're taking off here. Alright, on the heading, clear for takeoff. We're gonna fly out on runway heading and then make our turn towards our destination, and takeoff thrust is set here. $70 knots here, 80 knots, 100. We are trying to rotate at 130 knots here. There's 130. And we got positive rate. Gear's gonna come up. And we're already on our climb thrust here. I'm gonna give it some up trim here so I can put some pressure off the yoke. And we're gonna turn back on runway heading.
Chicago departure on 1250. Good day.
Autopilot's on, and we are going to contact departure.
125. 0 for Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy.
Alright, so we're back on runway heading. I'm going to put the flaps up here, and we are climbing out on runway heading and on a speed of 220 knots. Let's contact O'Hare departure here.
Chicago departure Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy is passing 2,800 feet, climbing FL Tree 60.
Alright.
Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy Chicago departure altimeter 29er. 46 radar contact.
2946 radar contact continue. So as you can see, they don't give you any radar vectors really, so you just have to vector yourself pretty much. So let's make this right turn now to the right, and kind of starting to head towards our waypoint because we're heading west and we took off heading east on runway 10. So we've got to make this 180-degree turn here. Yeah, pretty standard departure out of Chicago on the O'Hare 8 departure, which is just, you know, flying runway heading until they vector you. But then again, like I said, the game doesn't actually vector you, so you just kind of have to vector yourself in. There's our 737, there's our airport here. So we're just going to kind of get away from the airport before we make our next right turn here. So yeah, as you can see, here we are kind of coming away from the airport, and then we're going to make another right turn here to come and intercept our flight plan line. So while we're here, let's speed up to about 240 knots. They just told us to maintain less than 250 knots. Ooh, we can see the Chicago skyline kind of in the distance. It's a bit hazy and the textures aren't great, but we can still kind of see it here. So we are still below 10,000 feet, so we need to maintain less than 250 knots. Look at that, we got a straight headwind now. And as we're passing, I think we're far enough from the airport here where we can make another left turn towards our flight plan here. There we go. Turning right towards our line, and the plane is following. So we're just vectoring ourselves in. I can turn off these lights.
Heavy contact Chicago Center on 120. Tree 5. Good day.
Alright, told us to contact Chicago Center. Let's acknowledge that.
120. Tree 5 Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy.
Alright, so before we contact Chicago here, we are coming out at 10,000 feet right about now. So landing lights are going to come off at 10,000 feet. So are the seatbelts are going to come off, and we are allowed now to speed up past 250 knots. So we're going to give it some speed, make these engines work nice and hard, and we're going to bring the vertical speed down just a bit so that the engines don't have to push too hard to try to, you know, speed the plane up. And let's contact Chicago Center now.
Chicago Center Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy is at 11,000
And just
climbing FL
disregard the
60.
Qantas. That was my, call sign from my previous flight, and I forgot to change it.
71 Tree Heavy Chicago Center altimeter 29er 46 radar contact continue.
Alright, still 2946, and just radar contact continue. Obviously no vectors. I wonder, maybe if I press request vector to next waypoint, then let's see what it does if I say that.
Chicago Center Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy requesting vector to next waypoint.
Let's see what it gives us as a vector.
Qantas Romeo Alpha Whiskey 71 Tree Heavy turn left heading 270 resume on navigation.
Alright, so that makes sense. Turn left heading 270, resume on navigation. So, yeah, if we turn left heading 270 here, that's still going to get us to intercept our line here. Alright guys, so we are about halfway into the flight here, just cruising over the United States. Let's see, where are we? I couldn't tell you what state we're in there, but you know, one of those just middle of the United States states. Oh, look at that. We have a... Oh, so we're contacting Denver Center, so we must be near Denver. So yeah, just cruising. We have a strong headwind, unfortunately, about 30 knots of headwind, so that's slowing us down quite a bit. We're at 40,000 feet because our FMC kind of calculated that was a good altitude to fly, so we climbed a bit higher, and yeah, just cruising nicely. We got a little bit of turbulence, as you can tell, and yeah, just climbing real high. The nose is pitched up quite a bit here, but just trying to maintain that altitude in the 737. So yeah, here we are, just on the cruise on the way to our arrival airport of, I always forget the name of our arrival airport. What is it again? Buchanan Field, Kilo Charlie Charlie Romeo, runway 14. Alright guys, welcome to the approach here into Buchanan Field here in, I think we're in California. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, they're going to tell me to expedite. Alright, so they're telling us to expedite to 2,000 feet. We're descending to 2,000 here. We're going to be making a left turn right about now towards our runway. Look at all those windmills. I'm surprised the game isn't crashing on me. All these windmills turning. So yeah, making a left turn now towards our airport and our runway and descending to 2,000 feet here. We're not flying an ILS approach today. Unfortunately for you guys, I know you like watching those ILS approaches to help you get it down. We're just flying a normal kind of VFR pattern approach into Buchanan Field here. So here we are making our left turn towards our next waypoint, which is actually just a runway extension for runway 14 left. I never did this before, but on my arrival page, yeah, well, I don't need to expedite it that much, lady. Anyway, I'll expedite down at 2,000 feet here, just a little bit, but yeah, so we're pretty much just going to be coming in on this runway extension line and making a left turn in. As you can see, they want us to be at about 1,600 feet at that waypoint here, so we're going to plan for that, but right now we're descending to 2,000 feet and we're at 200 knots here. So yeah, we're going to let the plane kind of bring itself in. Altimeter's already set, and it's the first time I land at this airport, Buchanan Field. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a private airport in the California area. What airport are we close to? There's Oakland. There's Oakland and San Fran. Yeah, so we're close to San Francisco and Oakland. Still trying to expedite us down to 2,000. We're almost there, so we're fine. Again, looking at our plan here, we want to be at 1,600 feet here at that waypoint, and then that should bring us in on a 3-degree glide slope. We should be starting to see our airport soon, and I'm going to start slowing down a bit so that we can be able to make that turn without worrying too much about our speed. So let's set some flaps. We are now 2,500 feet above the ground. How far out are we? 10 nautical miles there. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and put the gear down before we forget. So gear is coming down, flaps are at 15, and I actually didn't set up my arrival or anything. Alright, there we go. So we set flaps 30 and 131, and we're still getting nagged at by ATC to get to 2,000, but here we are at 2,000 feet, leveling off, and at about 180 knots here. So our reference speed for arrival, we want flaps set to 30, and speed is going to be 131 here. So we're still coming in quite fast. I'm going to start really slowing us down now. Get us to about 150 knots here, and we're going to set flaps 25. Gear is down in 3 green. I didn't check my runway information here at runway information 4. Oh shit, we got 4,000 feet of runway. That's not much. So we're going to set max auto brake just to make sure we can brake into this runway. And yeah, I'm trying to find the airport here. It's going to be off to my left, and we're going to make this left turn into the runway. We can just let the LNAV bring us in. I'm hoping we get cleared to lower altitude soon, but ATC probably won't do that for us. Of course, they're nagging at us to get to 2,000, but they won't nag us to get us to our desired altitude here, so that's fine here. We're just holding runway 14 left, so it's telling us how far we are from the runway here. I'm gonna set flaps to 30 and gonna put our speed down to about 143 knots here, and trying to get a visual on the runway. I've got nothing yet. I think it might be over here. We're just keeping an eye. We're gonna be making a left turn soon into the runway, and you know what, I'm actually going to start descending the plane, because ATC is probably not going to clear us anytime soon. So, you know, whatever, we're going to defy the wishes of ATC. We're going to descend about 500 feet per minute here, and getting ready to make this left turn. Yeah, that looks like that's going to be the airport there off to our left. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And left turn is starting. I'm gonna bring that altitude down even more now. And vertical speed down even more. And I'm gonna turn auto throttle off. I'm gonna be controlling the speed now. Speed is mine. And I'm looking to the left here for a runway. I've got nothing yet. We are turning on to runway heading. Where is this airport? Alright. Autopilot's off. And yeah, well, I'm landing. Like, what do you expect? I'm not climbing to shit. I'm gonna land the plane whether she likes it or not. Alright, so we should be turning right about on a runway heading here. I've got no visual. Alright, I see the runway over there. We're way too low. That's my fault. We just got a lag spike, and we're gonna acknowledge what the ATC said. Alright, so yeah, I thought that the runway was much closer than it was. We were a bit low. Now I see the runway there, so we are good. And we're a bit slow, so I'm gonna push the engines up a little bit here for landing. Gears down. That's good. Alright, runway's in sight. And I'm gonna try to just look up a bit here. There we go. We've got 18 knot crosswind here on landing. Gonna have to use some rudder, and it's a short runway too. Alright, there we go. So we look like we are back on track. We were a bit low there. I thought the airport was closer than it actually was. Let's fly this approach nicely here. This big crosswind. Alright, now it's not an 18 knot crosswind. It's more like a 10 knot crosswind. Not too bad. Alright, still a bit high. Trying to get the plane down here. I don't get why they want me to climb when I'm trying to land, but so we're gonna disregard that. Getting a bit of lag spikes here. We get these lag spikes like this. Alright. We're gonna try to land before the runway chalks here so we can have enough time to brake.
Approaching minimums. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Alright, and reverse thrusting. And we're braking maximum brake here. And we're gonna announce taxi here. Alright, looks like we are good, ladies and gentlemen. Landed on at 4,000 foot runway with the 737. Here we are. And yeah, unfortunately ATC was kind of messing up at the end there. They should have just cleared us for that arrival, or cleared us to land, and they didn't. So we're gonna announce taxi here. Actually, whoa, skip to takeoff. What? Oh gosh, we got a big glitch here, guys. Let me see. Let me see what I can do. Announce taxi to parking. ATC isn't working. Nothing's working. Alright, well, that's annoying because we just did this flight and it looks like we're not going to get the reward for the flight. And it says skip to takeoff. Look at that. That's very bizarre to me. Yeah, announce taxi, stop at hold short. And yeah, looks like we're stuck here, guys, in the infinite glitch. I can't announce taxi to parking. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that flight. Kind of frustrating because we're not going to get the payout for the flight because of the glitches, but it's Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. What do you expect?